You can start.
Yes. Okay. We are going to discuss about the story of an author. As we know, this story is about a woman who named Louise, who has a heart disease. For that reason, her sister had to tell Louise that his husband died, but in a carefully way. So after that, the Louis' husband's friend named Richard came to the house and tells Louis that he saw in the news that a list of people who died in an accident, and in the list he saw the name of Brentley, who is Louis' husband. Right. After that, Louis sad. She got sad because she supposedly lost his husband, and she went to his bedroom, to her room, and he looked out a window, an open window, and she started to think about she started to feel what her surrounding was giving to her. And what's the thing with this? I think that the open window represents the freedom that she realized that she got at the moment of her husband died. So what do you think?
But the rest of the story.
Yes, but let's start with that.
I agree with the open window, because I think that it's like an opportunity to do things, because the protagonist was, even though she was sad about the death of her husband, she was excited because she saw an opportunity to be free. And in the text we can see that she thinks in the word free many times, and then she felt guilty, but she was kind of happy also. So I agree with the thing that it's like an opportunity, the open window, and the things that she saw outside, like the rain, and she started to feel the sounds of the birds and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would like to take both of your words and say that I partially agree with the window being an opportunity and a change of kind of the way of life, but I see the window more like a transition from the room that is portrayed as the husband and wife life and the outside world with the freedom. So this window is like a frame of a transition. Like she goes from being in a room where she was a wife, and then she, as soon as her husband dies, she goes through this window to this freedom world. That's why she starts recognizing these whole new senses.
Yeah, that's why, like at the beginning, as you said, Naya, she was like sad, but then she started to feel this presence, so to speak, and then she realized, as Marco said, through the window, that maybe it wasn't such a bad thing that happened, and that she would be able to do many things now that she was free in a way.
I think that as Naya said, she felt a bit guilty because I think she was confused because she didn't know if it was good or bad, if she was feeling happy because of her husband death. And with all those signals, she realized that it wasn't that bad that her husband died, because it was maybe it was a new opportunity to change her life and to enjoy her life maybe in a way that she really wanted to.
And
We can it is related also with the author's life, because she was an independent woman, Kate, the author, and she took this independence and write this story.
she was also an active feminist activist in those times, and through this story she reflects her view about marriage, about what's the power that women had in those times at the moment of getting married, and that women just had to live for their husbands.
I don't know if the word is power. I would say that it's oppression. Depression that women live in those days.
If we see that in that point of view, we can see that the book was ahead of its time, and it's happening in most cultures, not most, but some cultures nowadays. If we take that into Chilean society, we can see that nowadays the feminist movement is being empowered by this new way of thinking. But in the 80s here, that was impossible to think about.
Yes, I think
In the 17th century, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the 19th.
19th? Okay.
Okay. Now, after following the rest of the story, after she thought about his freedom and about her freedom and about her new life, as you know, her sister came into the room and asked to her that go downstairs to just to think about another thing and distract herself about another thing. And when he went downstairs, her husband appeared. He opened the front door of the house and he appeared, and
Turned out that he wasn't dead.
yes, she realized that he wasn't dead. And but the thing is that her husband's friend Richard tried to hide the he didn't let Louise to see her husband,
Okay.
and after that she died.
Yeah, from a heart
That-
disease.
That could have been because Richard didn't really confirm if he was dead
Yeah.
I mean, he
or
was
not.
lying?
yes.
Yes.
Not he was lying, but as we could read in the text, Richard was in the newspaper office, and instead of like confirming, he just waited for a second telegram
Yeah.
to say, oh, he died, and then he went away to tell her
Yes,
what.
yes.
But I think it was also because Louis suffered by the heart disease, and it could be shocking for her to see that her dead husband wasn't in
Yes.
front door of the house.
But relating that to what we were discussing before, at the same time you could be sort of confused if she in the end died because she was surprised because of her husband being alive, or because she was so excited about being
free.
feeling free.
Yes.
So there's like this double-sided meaning.
Yeah.
in the
We were
end.
talking. It's like I
Yeah.
thought that she died because she was sad because she saw her husband
Well,
at the door.
But she realized that her husband was alive, and everything that she thought
Before.
in her room, when the exciting that she felt when she thought that she was free, she was able to have a new
Life.
life. All of
that
all of those
went to hell.
thoughts crumbled down,
Went down.
and she died.
Well, I think differently because since the way I read the story, she never got to see her husband.
No.
Yes.
But someone opens the door.
Yeah, but,
No,
she,
but
So-
she heard sounds, but she never looked at it. So it could be anybody.
So
And
Maybe.
according to the text, she died from a heart disease, and the author in this case says that it was joy.
Joy.
So I believe in that.
So it could have been that
She was so
excited.
excited. She was so amazed that she was going to be free. She couldn't handle it. Couldn't
And
handle
I
it.
think another thing. I think that the heart problems that she had was her marriage, because she couldn't be free.
Oh,
So she was sick of being married.
And be a representation of
Yeah.
so since
Her
she
life.
got since she was now a widower, she got cured, and that therefore she died.
No, I was talking about
Oh.
just a representation
Oh,
of
okay.
the heart or the heart
Oh.
problems.
I just want to make something, say something to make my first point clearer. Since I told you that she was in a room, and the room was locked. Remember? That means that she was like, if that room is representation of the marriage
Of her
because
life.
of her life, because she
No,
was
I
so.
don't think it's not the marriage of her life. Maybe the marriage of, or how was the marriage represented in the,
Marriage.
but in the time that she wrote the
story.
The story, because
Yeah, maybe.
because when she got married with I forgot the name of her husband, and
Sorry.
no, the name.
The one.
But she said that even when she was married, she didn't lose her freedom, maybe, because
Camille is
she
talking about the author.
the
Yeah.
the life
Just
of
go ahead.
Kate, and because you said that it was a representation of her.
No, I'm married. I'm talking
Ah,
about
okay,
Louis'
or-
marriage.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I wanted to take what Marco said at the very beginning, how Louis felt free in this room and she felt hope that she could be, she could start again, and related to the time because even though the story is supposed to happen in the 1890s, like 30 years later, people started calling this decade the 1890s the decade of hope and happiness, because people were seeing how society was going forward so fast, and it also represents something that could have been so real at the time, because nowadays we don't really get to hear about train accidents, but at the time cars weren't there.
That common.
Yeah, cars were barely starting to be produced commercially. And I think around the 1893 or something. So this was something that could have been so real. It could have been even her life.
That common.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's something that could have been so daily, representing so many things at the same time.
So we cover.
No, I think. Well, I got confused with your.
Oh yeah,
When
what
you
I
said,
wanted to
but
say
I-
was the marriage of Louis. Louis'
Yes.
marriage was a locked room.
Yes, but anyway, I wanted to talk about her life.
Oh, that's the author
Yes,
that.
because when in the story, maybe she represented how marriage was, or the view of the marriage in the time that she wrote the story,
Yeah.
and but it was the fact that Louis felt the freedom of when she got single because her husband died. It was like a hidden. It was the Kate thought, but hidden in the story, because as Ruben said at the beginning, she was a feminist activist. Because when she was a child, he lost most of the but the male family. So and
She grew up with
she grew up with her mom, her grandmother, and her great grandmother.
mainly women.
Yes,
Women.
yeah, because her brothers also died. They was tiny, I think, and she developed not maybe a feminist mind, but
It could have been just a mindset that women could live by themselves
Yes.
without the need of men.
yes, because when as I said, when she got married,
She was very young.
Yes.
She was 20.
yes,
And independent.
But
Yeah,
she
you're
was,
right.
She was independent.
We done here?
We don't.
We done here.
Thank you very much.
I think it was